I've always had this obsession with creating like the perfect, and I think David and I touched on this too, with creating the perfect space with the minimum square footage. It's not even plants in our home. I just have full real life trees, like 10 feet tall trees in the house. Don't just buy things for the sake of it. Buy things that you actually want and it's going to fill the space nicely, right? Don't just buy it because you saw it somewhere and you think it's going to look cool or it's trendy or whatever. Buy pieces that you can actually pass down.
So the origin story of Stephanie Leonel.
Yes.
So when you were talking with David, you and him went into some of the details of the interior design school and how everybody was crying and we had to 3D print this stuff for you.
Yeah.
But
this wasn't like every class. It just happened more often than like in any other class, like for any other like major, I would say. It's not every single day, but I guess in like for you in business school, like you probably don't see that. That's why it's funny to bring it up.
Some people cried in business school. That was not me though.
Yeah, but like in architecture school, it's more. You see it more often.
But I know
more common.
Yeah, but I know what drew you to interior design was much earlier experiences, right? And where you grew up in New York and the types of houses that you were in and the neighborhood and everything like that. And like being in New York, obviously you have much smaller spaces. And now on the development side, you get to work with much larger spaces, but you still enjoy working with small ones, right?
Yeah, I do.
So,
I love it. The space planning of it all. I get a thrill.
But where did you grow up specifically?
In New York City, in Queens. Like the homes are called garden style apartments or garden style like houses. So they are like small houses and then they 3-story house, but then they would turn it into just 3 apartments essentially. So they're really small apartments. I've always had this like obsession with creating like the perfect, and I think David and I touched on this too, with creating like the perfect space with like the minimum like square footage. I was actually just sitting here when you guys were recording and our team, GVC, like their team, they actually just posted that they sold a unit in New York. The price was insane and it was like 917 like square feet of space, like two bedrooms and stuff, like almost $2 million. It's insane. But yeah, and I was actually just thinking about that. But yeah, I've just always enjoyed the space planning of it all. And it's what David and I touched on, of just fitting everything comfortably in a small space. And did I mention last time, there's this YouTube channel, it's called Never Too Small. And they touch on homes all over the world, from Paris, Madrid, like a lot of European cities, obviously, like even in Sydney, in Australia. There were a couple episodes, I believe, down in Brazil, like in São Paulo, where their entire thing is renovating really small spaces. And I think the biggest I've ever seen is like 646 square feet or something like that. And the smallest down to 200 and something square feet. And I think it's a really good show. And it goes to show how you can comfortably live in a small, like just condensing like everything. And I think here in Miami, the first time, like I really had an example of that, because I think our first apartment was a pretty decent size. I would say it was like 842 square feet. So
for a one bedroom,
for a one bedroom, that's very nice. But Sarah, my best friend, when she lived here in Miami, she lived in a studio at like over at the Roads, I believe. Yeah. She didn't like it. She liked it for a bit, but I was always fascinated. Like I would go into her space and she managed to fit it all into this studio, like this small space. She had a kitchen that had all like the appliances. She would cook like these entire meals in there and host people. She had her dining table, her bed, the bat, like all of it. And she would complain about it, but I would always like walk into this space that felt comfortable and it felt like home. Like it felt, I don't know, like how would I describe it? Like it just, you've been there, right? And it always felt like cozy. Like you would not because it was small, but because the like what she managed, how she managed to turn this tiny space into an
a home.
actual home. Like
Yeah.
it was a home.
And that's something that I've learned a lot from the way that you, obviously for our home as well, but in general, the way that you talk to people and the way that you think about space planning and the things that go into the home and the way that it's arranged is all about actually like making it a home. And
Yeah.
that's something that we've talked a lot about in the differences between the pre-war apartments that people have in New York and the character that they have and what you can do with them and the way that those are set up, as opposed to some of the high rises in Miami that you look at on a real estate listing and it's just like a cold, like white tile, glass box, white walls, modern art piece, and like a massive TV. Right, that doesn't feel like home.
No, and that takes a lot of work too. And that's essentially what happened with us, like with our apartment, right? Like it came in and it took work for us to be able to make it feel where you walk in and it doesn't feel like this cold, sterile place where it's like you want to come. Some people enjoy coming into that, like the stereotypical like Miami. I think for most people, you want to walk into a place where you're comfortable, right?
Yeah. And so what are some of the things that you think make a home feel more cozy and more like home? Like some of the things like we have the trees. We have literal trees.
Plants. Yeah, it's not even plants. Like in our home, I just have full, like real life, like trees, like 10 feet tall, like trees in the house. You don't necessarily need that, obviously, but I think just natural life, just natural textures like in your home. And what I tell everyone, take your time. Don't just buy things for the sake of it. Buy things that you actually want and it's going to fill the space nicely, right? Don't just buy it because you saw it somewhere and you think it's going to look cool or it's trendy or whatever. Buy pieces that you can actually pass down.
Yeah, that's what my grandma, Grams from Sonoma.
Oh, she had a beautiful home. Her home was, I dream of that.
But that's what she would always tell me too, is when I was a kid at first, it was like, you can't play on that couch.
Yeah.
But then...
That's hard with kids though.
Yeah, but then I learned, the reason is that that's a very nice couch.
Yeah.
So she had some very nice furniture in there and she was like...
beautiful furniture.
And as an adult, and when like you got the chance to meet her, she would talk about being able to hand things down and buying furniture that was so nice that you were able to like literally pass down furniture.
Yeah. No, and I see that in like with my family's stuff, like furniture in Brazil, like chairs that, I'm not exaggerating, like you've seen the chair at my grandmother's house. There's one that's in the dining room area. It was like my great grandfather, I think, built that. My grandmother's dad built that. And it's a beautiful piece and the wood it's solid, like hardwood. It's a beautiful piece. But yeah, these are pieces that my aunt has unfortunately sold a lot of them, but you hear my family talk about a lot of it, like my grandfather's like desk, like in his office and stuff, and just pieces that were handed down to other people or sold or whatever.
Or even some of the appliances.
Oh
I
my
was
God,
just talking about Brazil.
Yeah.
They're beautiful appliances.
Beautiful appliances that my grandparents got when they were married. So back in the 50s. No, my mom was born in 63 and she's the oldest.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I guess, your parents are not that old.
But appliances. And they all still work and they're beautiful and they all work still. My grandma has 3 kitchens in her house also. So there's a lot of, we have the newer appliances and then she still has, I believe, a stove and a fridge that all still work perfectly, that's the crazy part to me.
And going back to like things that feel like home, the wood in that house, the natural wood
with
flooring.
The parquet, like floor, yeah. And my aunt one time like 2 years ago, I think we were there, and she was talking about how she wanted to like take the floors apart and like just replace the floors, and everyone, she doesn't understand any of this. For her, it's just
luckily,
tired of looking at this, and we're all just like sitting there, and we're all like, absolutely not. These are the original. And my grandfather built that house before, I believe, my mom was born, or like shortly around like that, when my mom was born. And I think the architect who built it, I think he still lives like up the street, and he did a really nice job like with the home. The floors there are really beautiful. The parquet. Sorry.
So I was just going to say, not related to this conversation, but this feels a little bit like a first date sitting across the table from you. Is funny.
This is not how our first date went, by the way.
No. But it does feel like an interview date type of thing. But these are stories that I know, or at least like places that I know, right? But yeah, so on the floors though, like Derek and Jess's house.
Oh, beautiful.
Also beautiful wood floors.
Jess?
Obviously they had a big problem with flooding or a broken pipe that caused water damage.
I almost cried when I walked in.
And it's like a historic home in Miami Shores, and trying to find wood that matches, finding tile that matches other older tile is like just as difficult or more difficult.
Yeah.
And so we're actually right after this going to go check out his new floors. But some of the other things that make that house feel like a home that are architectural features and not just furniture though, is the vaulted ceilings.
The vaulted with the beams going through.
The nice dark wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So just those are some of the... That house has
so much character.
Like those are some of the elements of a home that are like built in, that when you go into them, that some people love them, some people don't. Mm-hmm. And the way that they're done, a lot of people don't have vision for what it could be, whether you paint it or don't paint it or stain it a certain way. But the combination of a natural wood floor, a natural stone, and natural stone countertops, and then vaulted ceilings, and then you fill it with those different things.
Yeah,
right?
and Jess I think I've told her this, but I wish she would do a tour of both of her homes here in Miami and in LA. To me, she is, out of all of my and this is not, I'm not being mean to any of my friends, but she has an eye for like design. Like you walk into both of their homes, you feel at peace. I don't know how else to describe this, but right, I told you this when we left their LA home. I'm like, wow, like I feel at peace like here, like every single time. And I don't know if maybe she's doing some like Chinese feng shui also
that you don't even know,
that I don't know of, but I feel like, yeah. And she matches all the colors perfectly. There's the right amount of color. It's not like this crazy in your face color. Everything is just, it's perfect. Everything is perfect. It's like the right amount of like wood everywhere, the right amount of modern touches everywhere with vintage antique finds. I wish she would do like a home tour of both of her homes. They're absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and something that a lot of people don't realize in design and development and just like the world that we live in, which is obviously built by architects, designers, and developers, they experience things and they don't know that they're not able to articulate why they're having the experience that they're having, of having harsh lighting or having like it feels like a hospital. Okay. We as professionals in the industry are able to translate those things and say, oh, it's because you don't have this, or if you change this thing, it will make you feel a different way when you enter into a space. And people who are really good at it, especially, I think a lot of my background is in the hospitality side of development, and people who are in the hospitality design space, they have the opportunity to create concepts in restaurants and have more fun with it. I know that you've talked about doing a restaurant and hotel eventually, but you get to create experiences for people at, starting with the architecture and then going into the interior design And then Neven and Mo with Feel Hospitality,
Yeah, they do a really good
they
job.
go even beyond that, and they curate the full experience with the operation and the food and everything. So it's like you get like a full scope of things that starts with the
Like
whatever the architecture is, your arrival experience.
from the moment you step in, yeah.
And then what do you see when you walk in? How do you feel with the lighting, the music?
Yeah, it's all.
And so you've talked about this as using all of your senses, right? And I don't know if that was something that you picked up in school or like
I
a
think
concept.
it was just like a project that I don't know. I don't remember what project I was working on, but I'm sure.
And it clicked for you.
Yeah, that I was just like, oh, you have to use like all your 5 like sense. And it might have been like the restaurant project that we had to work on. It's like at school. I think so. Might have been. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a project at school where that kind of just clicked. It was like, oh, like you have to walk in and you need that full experience. And so what is that full experience? It's engaging all your 5 senses. It's lighting that up.
Yeah, and translating that. And while I was at NRI, one of the things that we would talk a lot about is like bringing hospitality into the residential space. And you do that same thing with your home, or like anyone can do that same thing. Like when you're designing your own home, or you're even just decorating your home. And maybe that's something that we've talked about before. People should know the difference between design and decoration.
Yeah.
But
That's for another day.
That's a whole different topic. But with the curation of a space and the curation of a feeling and creation of an experience, that you can take that and bring it into your home. And for our Delray project, that's something that we've really tried to do with even, the name of the project being Casa Avenida. We want to curate the experience that people are going to have. And at this early stage, we're trying to convey to people what that experience is going to be like, even without them having the ability to be in the space because it's not built yet. We want them to know that the way that it's been designed, that it's for people that want to go out on Atlantic Avenue, whether that's coffee, lunch, dinners,
like you
drinks.
want to be able to walk to the avenue to have dinner at night after work, like you and your spouse, your significant other, whatever, and enjoy that lifestyle where you're not having to get in your car, drive to a plaza, right? And enjoy dinner like at a plaza, like and then, this big open parking lot, and then you just get back in your car and drive home.
Yeah.
That's not.
Like LARB is good, right? In Pompano Beach.
It's good.
LARB
Fort
is good,
yeah.
but it is like in a
parking lot.
In a parking lot, like
yeah.
You have to.
And plaza, shopping
it's in a
plaza,
shopping
sorry,
plaza,
yeah.
and so it's a different experience. And like when we go out,
and it was.
I'm not talking about a Thai food place necessarily, but if you want to go to the Park Tavern, or you want to go to Gabriella's, or one of the other places that's like on the Ave.
Right.
And when you're done, you get to just walk one block and you go home. And
you sit in like your little cocktail pool, or you go, or even you enjoy a cocktail like in the second floor, like patio, or on your rooftop or something like that. Especially right now, like the weather is nice. We were just in there last night and this weekend, and everyone is out, right? And everyone, like our entire team, everyone was like, oh my God, look at this. Like everyone was just walking to the avenue to go have dinner. It was dinner time. That's the lifestyle like that you're talking about, right? Where you enjoy a cocktail at home, you go grab dinner, you come back, you have your friends over for another cocktail or something, and then
Yeah, and the way that they're designed, and I've always loved one of the first renderings that you did for us onto the second floor that has an overhead perspective of it, where you can see the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, and then the pool, and this open concept. You don't have such a vast open space, And this goes back to feeling
feels
like you're at home.
comfortable.
It feels comfortable.
Right.
And now with the GVC team at Douglas Elliman that we're working with, they've actually created a virtual reality
Which is
experience.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get to actually put on the headset and see what's the space feel like.
You feel like, yeah.
And it's crazy that it's even at the height that you're at.
Yeah, with your eye
so
level.
if you're standing in a space, it's
It's gonna
5
look
feet.
a little different.
Than for
5'1",
Joe
5'2",
at
yeah.
6'3",
Yeah.
right? And so it's cool that now we have the technology to show people. So you can take someone out on the app and you can take them into the sales center and you can put on a VR headset and be like, oh, this is what it's going to be like when I get home.
Right.
And so the only thing that you don't get to do is go for a dip in the pool.
Or like
right?
touch the stuff.
Yeah, you don't get to touch this stuff. But you get to get a sense of the space and feel like how you would be in there relaxing and just hanging out afterwards.
No, that the VR stuff has been, it's really cool. Technology is amazing. But yeah, and I think that's one of the really good things that we have, like with our project, is the size of it, where especially for the indoor outdoor living, because I think with sometimes when you have spaces that are just so big, especially with an open concept, it just does, to me at least, it just doesn't feel like a home to me, because it just feels vast. Like you're just, I don't even know how to put it into it. Like you just show up and it's just like this space, right?
Yeah.
And I think, I think it's hard for a lot of people to break that down.
The other thing that people don't think about if they're not in South Florida already, or if they haven't lived in different spaces, the amount of air conditioning you need for a massive space.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's actually crazy to try to cool a really big space as opposed to a very comfortable, like single floor at a time. And obviously more energy efficient, and you can have just more control over the way that it is.
Yeah. And the indoor outdoor. I know I keep going back to that, but I love it so much. I think it's here, you need that. I think this time of year, like there's just nothing better to just be able to just open your doors and just let that air like circulate. Like for me, the summers here, that's what I get. I feel like,
again, thinking about who it is that's buying these places, people from the Northeast, they're coming in season when it's going to be, the weather is this nice. They want to have the windows open.
Yeah.
And so you have to make decisions like that maybe it costs us more as a developer, but it creates the life. But
you can breathe in your home.
You
so
can breathe in
nice.
your home, right?
Yeah.
So.
We're not going to VE that. I can't. Okay, what else? What else do you have for me today?
Okay, so what things would you VE? What's if you had to VE anything? What would the first things be?
That
would be on the chopping block?
That's a crazy question to ask. What would be on the chopping block?
So
Jared, that's a great. I don't even like the word budget.
I know, but there are certain things that have to happen sometimes.
Of course.
And not saying for this project, but in general, would you have would you change your doors to not be solid core and just have the hollow doors?
Oh, I don't know. Not for a project like this. No, absolutely not. I don't even want that in my home.
Would you decrease the window sizes?
No, because then that's going to we've played around with that and it ruins the architecture of the building.
Would you take some of the, like we were talking about our friend's house that has the wooden beams going through the vaulted ceilings?
Maybe something like that, but then that ruins like that nice character of it. Maybe what I'm thinking here is maybe just leave like on the roof, leave like the holes for the barbecue stuff and don't put that in. And it's, well, if you want a barbecue, like the option is here like for it. But I think like for the actual character of the home, that's tough to just be like, cut that. For something like that where it's like the option is there if you want it, but it's not there, I think that's easier.
And even like you were very set and made sure that we included a shower in every bathroom that's connected to every bedroom.
Okay, no.
Yes, that's how they're designed.
Right. That's how they're designed.
For this project, that's what we're doing.
But what I didn't want was because it came a point where the 4th floor, we have the bedroom / bonus room, like on the 4th floor. And you guys were all talking about not putting a bathroom up there, like on the 4th floor. I was like, we
were
can't.
saying to put a bathroom.
No.
But we were saying no shower. Because
that's not a bathroom. That's a powder room.
Okay. Powder room.
Because then whoever, like if someone turns that into a bedroom, you're having to go in because the way it was designed where the bedrooms they're on the 3rd floor, the bedrooms, and all of them, like they had the bathrooms in the bedrooms, right? That's how so unless we removed the bathrooms from the bedrooms and gave it access like outside, then that would work because then it's annoying. You have to go through a bedroom to access a shower, like someone's shower. Like that's annoying. Imagine being you guys, your family growing up. All of these kids. Can you imagine?
We weren't in this nice of a house.
No, but I'm saying like, can you imagine like like in the morning, like getting ready for school and like you're just going through each other's bedrooms, like having to go into that would have been it's a nightmare to deal with. It's a nightmare.
And this is why sometimes I lose arguments.
Well, because it makes perfect sense though.
Right, because this is your area of expertise. Like you know the options, you argue the case, and
then I win the case.
Yeah. From my legal chair, I accept that you've made a good.
It would have been crazy.
Made a good point.
It would have been just a nightmare to be dealing with something like that. Like if we had added the bathrooms like on the 3rd floor, if we had access to them without having to enter a bedroom, I think that you can make that work. And like I would understand that like that in New York or in these big cities with tiny homes. Or homes that have been these really old homes that have been renovated, but for something like this, like I don't think
where you have the option to design everything, and that's what I'm saying is
it doesn't make sense.
You make a good functional case for the way that things should be designed, and that's what we did.
Yeah,
right? That's what we're doing.
Like
so,
that was like
you were putting your foot down
with that. Absolutely, we had 3 calls where that was an option, and it was just. Absolutely not in my book.
Yeah, you won't compromise on.
Absolutely not.
So we covered what it takes to make your home feel cozy, what you wouldn't VE because you don't like the word budget.
No, but I do compromise. There was a call a couple weeks ago where I don't know something, I can't even remember, but I did compromise on something. I said, yeah, let it go. I'm not always like the bad guy, like just making everyone work around me. I do.
No, it's not working around you, but it's like making high quality design decisions.
Yeah. I can't help it. I've just learned how to make good points in my arguments that I win every time. What can I say?
Okay. It's been a pleasure being on this date with you.